This is good. Okay, let's bring them into the show. Let's bring you guys into the show. Who else is left? Who else is left? Who else is left? We got Podbean. No, not Podbean. Not Podbean. We got Podbean taken care of. Alright. Look like the last one is like, all I need to start the podcast is you.
Okay. Big man, you want to hear some hot takes? Let's see how woke you are. You know something about podcasts? Hey, dígame. You kidding me or what, man? I got these three drunk uncles with a sports podcast. They say they got fire takes, pure fuego. You find them wherever you listen to podcasts at. If it's what they say it is, you like and you subscribe. Listen, like, and subscribe, yeah. You know how to call into the show? Yeah, man. Do the podbean app. You'll need headphones with a mic to call in. That's no problem, man. They'll also be at Sharky's, 8:07 p.m. on the first Wednesdays of the month. You may get some free Blue Chew. And they keep receipts or so. If anything happens in the sports world, MyT's gonna drop a tape faster than a rabbit gets fucked. There's only three things I have in this world. My word, my balls, and this podcast. And I don't break them for nobody. MyT Sports Season 7.
Oh shit, that's my time. Shit, that was a long one. Evening, and welcome back to another edition of the MyT Sports Podcast. I'm your host, the one and only Untitled Chapter. It is another Fuego day in the hottest city in the world. It is February. It is December 22nd, folks. As you can tell by my personal attire, we are just about 3 days away from Christmas, and I am already in the Christmas spirit, man. I can't even tell you guys how much I'm in the Christmas spirit. But you know what, though? I think I'm going to tell you guys how much I'm in the Christmas spirit, because I really am. I really am feeling this the holidays, if you know what I'm saying, folks. We got a big show for you, as always, folks. They said we was going to have, like, highs of 80, lows today was around like 52 degrees. It was nice and breezy outside, right? Folks, we're gonna get into a whole lot. We got Taylors out here balling. Yeah, we know we're gonna start off with a little bit of the namesake today. We're gonna get into that. We got the Pacers clinching the playoffs. We got Tampa Bay getting shut out. We got Tom Brady being shut out. You thought Tom Brady was good? Yo, fuck Tom Brady, right? It hurts so good in Philly. I don't want to say that I told you so, but I really did think that I kept on mentioning something about a certain God doing a certain something in a certain place, and you guys kept on looking at your boy like he was a little off kilter. But now what you gotta say for yourself now, but it hurts so good up in Philly, right? And not just in Philly, but apparently in LA, the cup run is over. We're gonna get into that. We got the Jets game to talk about, right? And I don't even care about talking about the Jets game. I just gotta tell you that I was at the Jets game. I gotta tell you about my personal experience. Alright, we got Big Ben out here leveling up. Of course, you know we got some Knicks talk. We got some Blue Chew. Ooh, we got COVID again, doing whatever the hell COVID is. Is Kofi back? Is Kofi Kingston back? Oh shoot, it look like Kofi is back, folks. And also, not only is Kofi Kingston back in WWE, we have Lance Stevenson back in the NBA. And oh yeah. We also got the cooker Kyrie, the pressure cooker Kyrie Irving, also back, folks. We have all that and more on the MyT Sports Podcast today. But you know what's going on, Taz? How you doing, sweetheart? You know what we already say here on the podcast. Regardless of the time.
Take that.
And regardless of the weather.
You play to win the game. Hello?
It's always a good time to talk some sports. Let's stir this motherfucker up and get talking. Let's start talking. Woo! Back at it like a sports fanatic. Flex on a one-time take. MyT Sports. Woo! Woo! Man, it's always good when we get a chance to talk. We get the chance to pod and talk some sports. It's another beautiful day down here in South Florida. I ain't gonna lie. It was a little crisp. Like the weather was a little crisp. It was a little breezy. You understand? Like not like the cover girl kind of breezy, but it was a little breezy out there. You know what I mean? Maybe had to put on some ankle socks. Had to cover the ankles up. I'm just saying, like the ankles was exposed out there. It was making me feel a little chilly out there. But shit was good. And I don't know if you guys know, right? One of my side hustles that I also deliver for Amazon. And before we get into the birthday part, I just got to tell you, right, that this time of year, for some odd reason, I shouldn't say for some odd reason, this time of year, while working for Amazon, it puts a very special smile on my face. Because in the back of my head, all I think about is that I am directly delivering people's Christmas presents to them. Like, I am really directly delivering smiles and happiness and joy into homes. Like, I'm out here getting my Black Santa on. That's what I'm trying to say. Hashtag Black Santa. That's your boy. Look me up. Right? Like, I am literally doing Santa's work out here. And anytime I think about that shit puts me, like, I can't remember. It ain't too often, you know, as an adult, right? You don't really get into it. Sometimes you have to find that thing that really put you in that Christmas spirit. Well, that's been the thing that's been putting me in the Christmas spirit, knowing that I am directly influencing the homes of families, little boys, little girls, children all over the world, and I'm bringing them smiles. I'm bringing them their toy. I'm bringing them that thing that they've been trying to be good for and wishing for their whole entire year. And honestly, and if you're delivering right now and you ain't feeling that kind of way, Dad, you know what? I'm just gonna say it right now that you're a mean one, Mrs. Grinch. That you're an evil, conniving skunk. Like, you made me lose my erection. You're the picture of imperfection, Mrs. Grinch. I would fuck you with a 10.5-foot pole. I'm just saying, get your shit together. That's all I'm saying. Hey, yo, DJ MyT, you guys ready over there? Let's go in and open up this room and start this birthday party. Hey, yo, drop that beat for me. Yeah. Yeah, you know how we go there. Yeah, it's your birthday. We said it's your birthday. Check it. Yeah. Check it. Yeah. Because it's your birthday, we sing happy birthday. Check it. Yeah. Check it. What, honey? So, guys, you already know how it is. If you know anybody that had a birthday yesterday, anybody got a birthday today, you go ahead and you drop their names in the rooms. Listen, only for yesterday and today. Don't be cheating and trying to give me no birthdays from last week. Don't be trying to cheat and be like, hey, yo, my homeboy's birthday's on Friday. I got a Friday show for that. Right? But if you got somebody that had a birthday yesterday, and also somebody got a birthday today, you go ahead and you drop their names for me. You drop their names in the comments, and I will go ahead and give them a birthday shout out here on the podcast. But for right now, folks, we got the birthday party getting ready to start. And right now, we got the birthday boy and the birthday girl. Well, we got the birthday boys coming into the room, and you see them getting there. Check it. Yeah. Check it. Yeah. Right? So I want to say happy birthday to one J.B. Cool. Now, if I have done my research properly, J.B. Cool happens to be somebody that I met in the wrestling circus while I was ring announcing for Platinum Pro Wrestling. And folks, don't you guys stay tuned, because you know it's been a while since we talked about an event that Platinum Pro Wrestling has. So you know one is coming up. You know one is coming up in January. You know they have their season's beatings around the third week of every January. So listen out for that. Matches are probably going to be coming up soon. As soon as I find out something, you'll find out something. And hopefully I see JB Cool out there in the wrestling circuit again. So I want to say happy birthday to the one JB Cool. Also want to say happy birthday to Bobby Giovanni. Bobby Giovanni happens to be the step bro, right? Basically, it's my sister, step bro? No, I don't even know how to explain it. the brother-in-law, bro. Right? Like he happens to be my sister-in-law's brother. Right, brother? How you need to work out those numbers, right? But that's only birthdays we got. Right after that long hiatus and get all those birthdays from the last podcast, this is the only birthdays we got for this podcast, right? So I want to say happy birthday to JB Cool. I want to say happy birthday to Bobby Giovanni. Hope you guys party hard. Hope you enjoy everything. Hope you regret nothing. But more importantly, we hope you continue to stay. No, let me stop playing. MyT. Woo. And while you guys are here, don't forget to check out the Mighty Sports Podcast, folks. You can catch the Mighty Sports Podcast basically anywhere that you listen to podcast at. It's real simple. Tell your smart speaker, hey yo, play the latest episode of the MYT Sports Podcast. I know it's a small speaker, but you have to spell it out for it, right? You have to tell it MYT Sports Podcast. And if you got Google Play, if you got Spotify, if you got any one of those listening devices that you stream podcasts at, it's gonna go ahead and pull it up for you. It may even ask you, hey. Oh, that's somebody else. They may even ask you, hey, do you want to make this your preferred listening for podcast? You want to say, hey, you want to like, you want to subscribe. But you can't, because not only can you listen to the podcast, right? You can also watch the podcast. Whether that's on YouTube, whether that's on Instagram, whether that's on Facebook, whether that's on Twitch, you can do that shit too, right? You can find archives anywhere. You can catch me on my website, mytsports.net. You can catch me on the app, the WESN app. You can catch us there as well. If you want to catch the show live, folks, every other Wednesday we are live from Sharky's. You can catch us there as well. Starting from the first Wednesday in January, that is. Right? Folks, Mighty Sports Podcast. Well, we're like American Express. We're everywhere anywhere that you spend cheese at. Or anywhere that you want it free. Like I'm just saying, that's what we do here. That's what we do here in the Mighty Sports Podcast. Hey, yo, DJ MyT, go ahead and cut that beat. I think we're done here with the birthday celebrations, right? But you know what that means. Really. You really and truly know what that means. That we're not going to miss a beat. We're going to transition. We're going to hit. We're going to bob left. We're going to bob right. We're going to come underneath. And we're going to hit them with that Knicks talk. You know we got that Knicks talk. Even when we even when we lose to the bad teams, or we beat the bad teams' breaks, we got that Knicks talk. Because whether the win is for real or that win is for fake, we got that Knicks talk. Because when you in the house of Knicks, all Knicks talk shall come to light. None of it shall prosper in the dark. And that's why we have that Knicks talk. Folks, the New York Knicks currently as it stands have not changed their position since the last time that we spoke. They are currently still the 5th team. Yes, folks. The 5th team. Yes, the 5th. I'm not going to let Bookham help me out on this, but I don't think I'm going to need his help. But yes, folks, they are still the 5th team in their division. As it currently stands right now, they are the 12th team in the conference. Look on the outside of the postseason, right behind Atlanta. And folks, we're going to have a little bit more Atlanta talk to talk about here on the podcast, folks. And not Atlanta football, which we know that we absolutely hate everything that goes on with Matt Ryan. But no, folks, we actually going to maybe even talk about just a little bit of some Atlanta basketball talk.
Yo, you thought Trae Young was still good, bro?
Fuck Trae Young!
Yo, the streets is talking. I got nothing to do with that, right? Bing bong. So, let's start off, right? New York Knicks currently have a record of 14-17, right? Sitting on like 45% winning percentage. Now, the New York Knicks are just like about every other team right now in the sports world. Not just the NBA, not just the NFL, not just Major League Baseball if they were playing right now, not just NHL, but all of the sports entities right now are having COVID go rampant through their leagues. The basketball NBA is no different, and neither is the New York Knicks, folks. Currently, as it stands, it looks like basically the whole entire Knicks young squad is dealing with COVID. I feel like they were all partying together. You know what I mean? They over here doing that Justin Timberlake. It's not gay if it's in the three-way. It's okay if it's in the three-way. Like, they must have been doing something because Emmanuel quickly got COVID. R.J. Barrett got COVID. Deuce McBride got COVID. Quentin Grimes got COVID. Obi Toppins got COVID. That's 5 of your young squad right there alone. The only person not catching COVID with them is Mitchell Robinson, which kind of tells me that Mitchell Robinson may not be invited to play in these reindeer games all the time with his goofy ass. But you know what Mitchell Robinson do? His goofy ass happened to have one of his lucky garbage can gets a steak ass games last night, folks, against the Detroit Pistons. Detroit basketball. I got something to tell you guys about that a little bit later. Your boy got no goddamn sense whatsoever, folks. But you wouldn't be here listening to the podcast if you thought I had any sense. No. You come here for some sports, but you really here for the MyT chaos. And I'm going to make sure I get that shit to you every step of the way. Hey, yo! New York Knicks are as injury-ridden as just about any other team, right? And what this has done, this has put the Knicks in a conundrum, right? It has put them in a hard spot. It has put them in a pickle. They didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock was thrown at their motherfucking head because they made a hard choke. They made a hard line in the sand, and that shit got washed away by misbelief. And, folks, it looks like Charlotte Flair's about to be hit with some pie in the face. Look at that, folks. I wouldn't mind me having Liv Morgan hit me with her pie in her face. Oh, no, that's not Liv Morgan. That's Toni Storm. My bad. I wouldn't mind Toni Storm hitting me with her pie in her face, hitting me with her pie in my face either. Now, the hard line in the set that the New York Knicks did was decided that they wanted to bench Kemba Walker. And in the benching of Kemba Walker, they went ahead and they doubled down by saying that Kemba Walker doesn't even belong in the starting lineup. Right, or not in the starting lineup, but my bad, in the rotation. Now, him not being in the rotation brought us a lot of talk. It allowed us a lot of conjecture, right? It gave us a lot of hot topics to go ahead and discuss. And what really it was that we were kind of shocked that they couldn't find a role for Kemba Walker, given that the fact that Kemba Walker is a pro's pro. And we were reminded that Kemba Walker is a pro when he was asked the very question about his benching, and he answered it in such a way that made New York Knicks fans like, you know what, just let him stay on the bench. You know what, let him do what, let him do what Udonis Haslem, UD. What Udonis Haslem does in Miami. That's how much they fell in love with, because that was the kind of leadership that you want to hear. That's what you want to hear from a veteran in the league. That's the kind of thing that you want to hear from somebody that sets an example for young players. That's what you want to hear from your vet, because as it currently stands right now, Kemba Walker is the vet to these guys in the locker room. Now they've had a couple of vets in the past. What's going on, T. Berg? How you doing? How you doing? Tell your son to work on that thing for me. He knows what I'm talking about. Time is cutting close. We got like 9 days left. He needs to work on that thing. So Kemba Walker, whoever he is the vet to these guys. Now these guys have had different levels of vet, right? At one time they had Julius Randle as their elder statesman, right? But he was an elder statesman acting as their vet. Later on, they would get Taj Gibson and they would get Derrick Rose, who would come in there and start acting as their vet. But their true vet is going to be in how Kemba Walker has treated being benched and then brought back into the starting lineup. Not only was he a professional when he was benched, he was even a bigger professional when he came back into the lineup, because he showed the New York Knicks organization, he reminded his teammates, he reminded the whole entire basketball world that, you know what, I still got some skirt left in these sneaks, and if you put it in my hand, if you put the rock in my hand, I guarantee you every once in a while you can come out and say it that I am ballin'. And that's kind of what he did the other night, folks. The last 2 nights at that, we saw Kemba Walker inserted back into the starting lineup. But I explained to you the amount of individuals that the New York Knicks do not have. The New York Knicks are so injury-ridden that they got guys like Selden coming in and getting himself a 2-way 10-day contract, folks. We're going to talk about a 10-day contract that has been signed by somebody. It has a little New York flavor to it. And I'm telling you, folks, this guy right here is happy to see him back in the league. It just sucks where the fuck he had to go back to. But we're going to be privilege of seeing him very soon, right? Teaser. I'm just gonna let you sit on that just a little bit, right? Now, you see Kemba Walker came out, drops 21 points. He dropped 20 plus points in the previous game. Him and him and Evan Fournier have both put up really good offensive games in the last 2 games. Now, this last game resulted in a W. The game before this, they did not get that W. Now, part of that reason is because they are playing the 5-25 Detroit Pistons. Detroit basketball that is being led by a young, and I do mean a very young, squad, young draft pick, Cunningham, Joseph, Bay, you know what I mean? Like that whole entire squad is filled with youngsters. And what you saw in this game, and stop me when I tell a lie, what you saw in this game was the New York Knicks taking advantage of a bad team to try to get back on track, which is what you should do. And a guy like Mitchell Robinson, who you just heard us talk on the last podcast, saying that it is about time for him to go. It's about time for him to leave. It's about time for him to skedaddle. And because I don't know if he's that guy. But what you did see from him was come off the bench. He's working himself back into shape. And he took advantage again of a Detroit team that he's used to have to battle a whole lot harder in the paint to get rebounds and to get buckets. When this team no longer has Andre Drummond, I'm not telling a joke here. When this team no longer has Andre Drummond on that team, to go ahead and eat up 22 boards like he does sometimes against the Knicks and against Mitchell Robinson, or to put Mitchell Robinson in foul trouble as Mitchell Robinson comes off the bench for us, he had a really good game. He had a solid game. But also, you see Mitchell Robinson, being the benefactor the same way that guys like Tyson Chandler, the same way that guys like DeAndre Ayton, the same guys like DeAndre Jordan, you know what I mean? The guys like JaVale McGee benefit from having true point guards like, i.e. Chris Paul with them, where they're allowed to work in a pick and roll, and any time that, and after too many times of that point guard hitting that floater or punishing you in the mid-range, we got some mid-range talk coming up again, punishing you in the mid-range, then the big man starts to cheat a little. And the moment that big man starts to cheat, then you start to get punished another way. And the way that you get punished now is in the lob over the top where Mitchell Robinson flourishes at. Now we've seen him put up, I think it was 8 for 9 at one point in time. I don't know if that's where he finished at. I don't have his final numbers up in front of me. I'll get it up in a second now. Don't get it twisted. But this is part of the reason why, like I said, just last podcast, we were talking about him shooting a 71 field goal percentage. But that is because he's not doing post moves. He's not doing fadeaways. He's not doing hook shots. Everything he shoots is a dunk. It's at the rim. It's basically within 8 feet. You don't even need elbow room. So Mitchell Robinson goes on and he has himself a blast of a game. The kind of game that will make some Knicks fans and be like, see, you need to apologize about Mitchell Robinson. Look at him, he's balling. He just need to get himself back in shape, and I don't give 2 flying fucks. If Mitchell Robinson was going on, Mark, I see one of my co-hosts finally making it into the room. If Mitchell Robinson cannot turn himself into a Rudy Gobert or a Tyson Chandler kind of player under the tutelage of Tom Thibodeau, while also being mentored by a vet like Taj Gibson, you're never going to get it together, son. Because it's already looking like one Obi Toppin is already surpassing you into the understanding of the game. Now, granted, you guys are about the same age, even though Obi Toppin just came into the league. Actually, I think Obi Toppin still be maybe like 2-3 years older than him. Mark, how you doing? See you in the podcast. What up, what up, what up? So, now the New York Knicks are doing... Oh, they can't hear me, can they? You know what that means. Right? The New York Knicks are slowly working themselves into a problem. It's a good problem, but it's going to be a problem. And the problem will only get heightened based on the stubbornness of one Tom Thibodeau. And let me explain. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and we will explain to you in just a moment on the Knicks while the Knicks are on the crossroad, and why a lot of this is going to depend on Tom Thibodeau's stubbornness. That and more on the MyT Sports Podcast right after this commercial break.
They didn't join this team to win championships or become famous. They joined because there is important work to be done, and only some able to do it. They are brighter, better educated, led, and equipped than any team in history. They are doctors, lawyers, engineers, technologists, and combat troops, all prepared for whatever comes their way. You'll find them where the lights don't flash, and the only contract they sign is with themselves and their country. One day, they may be asked what they did to make a difference in this world, and they can respond, I became a soldier.
Fucking right I did. Damn right. Hell yeah. Fuck. What's going on, paparazzi? You caught us just in time. I'm over here doing a little bit of Knicks talk. And we are back with the MyT Sports Podcast. I'm still your host and one and only Untitled Taylor. Right? Thank you guys for listening as we continue to get back into the show. Now, as I was saying, the New York Knicks are actually in a very weird spot. It's a good spot, but it's a bad spot. Because it could turn complete shit depending on the stubbornness of one Tom Thibodeau. If you've watched the Knicks from the last couple of weeks, you may actually realize the New York Knicks are sneaky deep. We've seen this now as COVID starts to trample through the league, and especially the Knicks, right? Including the Knicks. Can you hear me now, Mark? Let's see here. Can you... Yep, they can hear me now. Perfect. What's going on, Mark? Welcome to the podcast. I muted you for half a second. Sounded like you had a little background noise, but unmute yourself whenever you are ready. But I'm about to play your little, you know what I mean.
50. I am Mark 250. I am Mark 250. I am Mark 250. I am.
Hey, right? So, if you pay attention to the Knicks, you actually can see the New York Knicks are actually very sneaky deep. And if you also look at it, not only are they deep, they can honestly be separated into almost two different categories, right? You have a whole entire squad that is filled with veteran players, right? From the point guard position all the way up to the center position. And then you have a whole other squad that is built just off of rookies and young players, from the point guard up to the center. And we're seeing with COVID, right, guys like Quentin Grimes and Deuce McBride getting the opportunity, and you're seeing them balling. You've seen Obi Toppin before COVID, before he got sent in the COVID protocol. You saw him starting to come along more. We've seen even young guys like Sims come in. You know what I mean? When we needed more help in the big man position, when we were losing, when we were losing Mitchell Robinson, Nerso Noel, and also Taj Gibson. The New York Knicks actually has scary good depth. Now in lies the problem. What will they do with this depth? Because like D'Antoni, Tom Thibodeau Tom Thibodeau does not like to go deep into his bench. And because he doesn't like to go deep into his bench, you have a lot of players that don't get burned that we can honestly see right now because of COVID that they may deserve minutes. And not only do they deserve minutes, it also now brings the baffling question. You have guys like Derrick Rose, Kemba Walker, Taj Gibson, Nerlens Noel, Alex Burke, and Mitchell Robinson that are all injury prone. That you would think that having this depth would be a benefit to you so that you don't have to wear these guys to their last string, their last hamstring, their last ligament, to their last breath. That you can actually bring in an infusion of that young talent to help give these guys that rest, that need rest because their bodies don't always hold out through the length of an 82-game season. Why are you playing some of these guys 38 minutes, 41 minutes, 42 minutes, 45 minutes, when you have all of these young guys on the bench twiddling their thumbs? Tweet, 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 elite, tweet, 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 elite. So Tibbs is going to be faced with a hard decision. Like, you're going to have to start using some of these young guys. And guess what? You just got hit even harder. Because, what did I just say? I was surprised that some of these young guys didn't get burned so you could preserve the health of the guys that needed it. Not just your older guys, the Taj Gibsons, the Derrick Roses, the Nerlens Noels, but just guys that are injury prone, like your young center Mitchell Robinson. But now you see what all of these unnecessary minutes, all of these uncounted minutes, these minutes that your brain wasn't registering you playing when you first came into the season. Derrick Rose is now out with an ankle injury. Because once again, under Tom Thibodeau, Derrick Rose is being pushed a little too hard. And now he's out with his ankle injury. And now he's going to be gone for 8 weeks. What's going on, Mark? What'd you say?
Parker is balling.
Who's balling?
For like 12 minutes. Kemba.
Well, Kemba balled all game. He kind of balled all game. Like, take your hate away from here. You over here just hating. He balled for 12 minutes. That's why nobody's talking about Brooklyn. They're the number one team in the East, and they getting no love and no burden. So you gotta now with no Derrick Rose. You're gonna have to see now. Okay, who's gonna get these minutes? You have the bodies for it. You have Kemba Walker. You have Emmanuel Quickly. You have Deuce McBride. You even have Alex Burke, who you brought into the starting lineup to replace him already. But you're starting to see, right? With Alex Burke was balling when he was the primary ball handler. Now since Kemba Walker has come back, you're starting to see Alex Burke not look so impressive. It's going to be really interesting to me to figure out or to see what Tibbs does with his lineup moving forward. Because you can see now that you have the depth. And I, for one, like I think more, like as most Knicks fans feel, I want to see them go deeper. Pause. But I do want to see them. I want to see them go deeper into their rotation, go deeper into your lineup. You have all of this young talent for a reason, not for nothing. Not for nothing. Nobody. I know we love the Knicks and all that shit, right? All Knicks fans, but we ain't really watching the Knicks to see Derrick Rose play. We ain't really watching the Knicks to see Nersa Noel play. We ain't watching the Knicks to even really see Julius Randle play. We ain't watching this to see Taj Gibson get 1 block, no points, no rebounds, no steals, no assists all fucking game. We ain't watching for that. We're watching to see Emmanuel Quickly go 7 for 28 if he has to, but start to pick up the game. We want to see Obi Toppin go and dunk on people's head, give them straight headaches. I love it when you give me head, but I hate it when you give me headaches. We want to see what Deuce McBride looks like. We want to see Quentin Grimes and that quick release and that sweet shot looking like a young Allen Houston out there. Talking about, you know what I mean? Get a little shout out to the lighter side of sports. We want to see that. Especially when we fucking losing. But even when we're winning, we wanted to see that. Because you have the depth. So when COVID is over, or when these guys come back from COVID protocol, I don't want to see these little short 8-man rotations anymore. I don't want to see these 9-man rotations. Because you know what? You know what real championship teams do? They play all the way down to the 12th man on their roster. At least through the regular season. Because that's when those guys build up all their confidence and build up all their experience, and they start being like, oh, okay, I've been in this situation. Now when I get called in game 5 of a playoff and my team is down by 12, I've been here before in the regular season. I get to my spot, I hit a couple of threes, I play defense. Next thing you know, it's a 4-point game. This is what I came here to do. I've been here before. I recognized the situation. I understood the assignment. But they can't get that experience if you don't play them. They can't help you if you don't play them. So the New York Knicks are going to have to start playing these young guys because that's what championship teams actually do. Now when they get to the playoffs, these championship teams may now shorten their roster then to maybe an 8-man rotation, a 9-man rotation. And if maybe somebody in that 8-9-man rotation happens to go out or is in foul trouble or needs rest, then you bring in those guys, or they're just not cooking that night, they're just not feeling it. Then you bring in one of those other guys and now have been here before. And now they get burned. What you don't do is have that guy there not playing all year, and in an elimination playoff game, you go ahead and you put him against Trae Young in a one-possession game. And expect them to recognize the scenario. Expect them to be warmed up. Not just in that game, but for the season. Expect them to be in a rhythm. That's the other thing that's missing, is that when you don't give them that natural playing time, they're not in rhythm. And we all know that rhythm is a dancer. It can happen anywhere. So you're going to want to try to get these guys in here. Young, old, start, bench, it doesn't really matter. Now, the New York Knicks, they have a game tomorrow. And then after that, folks, is the day that we've all been waiting for, where all I want for Christmas is brew. I'm going to be drinking my ass off and watching basketball. I'm going to be stuffing my face. I just found out I 100% will not be working that day. Listen, I ain't going to lie. There was a part of me in the back of my head. I was hoping I could catch a little bit of work that day because I knew the pay was going to be good. Like, I don't mind going out real quick for 5 hours and possibly making, $150 plus, for real quick. Like, I don't mind that shit. Maybe a little bit more. 5 hours, make anywhere between 150 to 250 on that day. That's what I was hoping for, but they're not going to be open that day. So I gotta just deal with the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I think I'm doing a podcast Friday. Don't hold me to that. Yeah. Because if we're talking about me doing a podcast at around this time on Christmas Eve, I know too many Spanish people. I'm gonna be partying with my Puerto Rican brethren most likely. Yeah. So, podcast on Friday? Keep a loose ear for that. Put it this way, if I was doing a podcast on Friday, that means I didn't do anything that Friday night. Which I'm gonna be a little upset about. I'm gonna be a little depressed, right? But that also means we're gonna be here, and we get to go do our damn thing, and that means when we come back on Monday, Monday's gonna be a thriller. Monday's gonna be a hell of a thriller, right? So we know we have the Christmas Day games coming up pretty soon. But before we talk about the Christmas Day games, right? Let's talk about some of the people that are coming back for Christmas, right? Just in time for Christmas. It's like the ghost of basketball Christmas past came and gave us individuals that we thought we had forgotten about. I don't know where to start here. Now, both of these guys have a little bit of New York flavor to them. First one on the list. Let's talk about the one that I think that everybody kind of knows, everybody's been hearing about by now. The most popular one, right? Lance Stephenson. Yes, folks, you heard me right. The more popular one. Lance Stephenson. Now Lance Stephenson, folks, as you guys know, is a Brooklyn native. He does his dance. You know what I mean? He's the guy that I always say that he is built in the same prototype. And you have to understand what I'm saying here. The same prototype as LeBron James. He just does it at a much lower level. But he is in the same prototype with the skill set
That's why he blew in his ear.
with the skill set that he has. Now, Lance Stephenson, after years of being out of the league, you've heard us talk about him now for the last couple of years on the podcast. Been balling overseas, right? He went the Stephon Marbury route, and he was balling in Asia. Then, when the NBA G League did their reconstruction, right? He made it into the G League this year. He was averaging over 20 plus points in the G League, killing it, straight slaver, right? Looking like the dude from Saved by the Bell. He was a complete AC slayer, right? Now he gets called up to the NBA, back into the NBA again, due to COVID protocol. So Kemba Walker returns into the NBA due to COVID, and now we got you know how much New York flavor this is we talking about here? It's coming back into the NBA because of COVID. Where's Rayford Alston? Somebody go call him back up. AKA Skip to My Lou for those that don't know. AKA And One Mixtapes for those that don't know. AKA the shorts that you see in Walmart for those that don't know. AKA go watch that shit on YouTube if you don't know. Because if you don't know, then you young as fuck in the basketball world. I'm sorry. But they gave us back, COVID gave us back Kemba. Then, now they give us back Lance Stephenson. Now, it just sucks where Lance Stephenson is being signed to. As we talk about the Christmas Day, right? And him being a nice little gift. I guess it's more of a gift for him and his home town of Brooklyn, New York. Maybe for his family. Because within his first 3 games, he comes back home, folks. And he is going to be in the Christmas Day games. Playing for the Atlanta Hawks. That's the only part about it, folks. He is playing for the Atlanta Hawks because Trae Young is out. So
Yo, you thought Trae Young was still good, bro?
Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young!
Bro?
Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae
So he's coming in. He's taking, and as you guys know, if you watch Lance Stephenson is a good ball handling, and he has some good primary ball handling skills. And if you can keep him guided, focused, and put him into a decent role or put him into the role that he is meant for, he can do some really good work with the ball in his hand as well as off the ball. And it looks like he's going to be taking over some of the ball handling duties for Trae Young, while Trae Young also goes through COVID protocol. So COVID giveth and it taketh. And listen, if COVID has to, and if the world wants to take away Trae Young to give me Lance Stephenson, it's okay, world. Take Trae Young away from me. I don't care. But if you're taking away Trae to give me Lance, I'm taking that trade all day long. I am taking that trade in life. In life, that is. In life. Of Lance Stephenson over Trae Young. Actually, I'll even take Lance Stephenson over Trae Young on the basketball court. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm just saying. You put them together in a one-on-one, and I think Lance Stephenson will cook them. Cook them. I'm telling you right now, Lance Stephenson is cooking them. If they're going to 11, the score's going to be 11-4. And that's only because Trae Young managed to get off 2 3-pointers, so they counted for 2 apiece. Ones and twos, baby, by ones and twos. So yes, folks, we are going to get Lance Stephenson back. But unfortunately, he plays for the enemy. He plays for the Atlanta Hawks. So at least I know one thing. Before, I didn't have a reason to watch the Atlanta Hawks. Now I have a reason to watch the Atlanta Hawks. Because Lance Stephenson is back. And you've noticed, since Lance Stephenson has been back, that the Atlanta Hawks have been slowly climbing up in the rankings. I'm telling you right now, if they sign Lance Stephenson to a contract for the whole entire year, the Atlanta Hawks are going to win the East. Because that's the Lance Stephenson effect. I'm still mad that Lance didn't get his championship ring. Stephenson should have been on that LA Lakers team that got that ring. You could use him now. All those old bodies you got there in LA. Can't nobody run up and down the court. Listen, your young center can't even run down the court. He's injury prone. Listen, as of right now, Anthony Davis, as far as availability goes, ain't no better than Mitchell Robinson. In availability. In that ability only. They are the same. They are the same. Also on Christmas, folks. Alright, for the Christmas Day games, we are also going to get another New York native, folks. The least more popular out of these 3 New York names I just mentioned. And that is, well, at least these last 2 of Lance and now this guy I'm about to mention. And that is also one Kyrie Irving. Folks, yes, folks, Kyrie Irving is said to be making a return to the NBA this season after he was basically, now I don't want to say it was a silent protest, but he just wasn't buying into the COVID vaccination the way that some individuals are, and he didn't want to get it. And if you can't be vaccinated, the NBA was not going to allow you to play half the. Actually, the NBA wasn't gonna say shit, to be honest with you. The Brooklyn Nets wasn't going to allow Kyrie Irving to disgrace the game and put out a bad showing of having Kyrie Irving only play half the games. But now, since there is hardship and extenuating circumstances, now all the rules are off. We're throwing everything out of the window. People who couldn't play, they're playing now. You're overseas, you're in the G League, come on down. You're the next contestant on get this 10-day contract. Right? And Kyrie Irving is also in line with that. The Brooklyn Nets are going to reinstate Kyrie Irving and allow him to play in all away games. So New York, you won't see Kyrie play in New York. So for Christmas, how can I say this? I think there's only really one way to really say this. And that is, I do humbly apologize or Wait. There's supposed to be more to that. Where's the rest of that?
Sorry, B.
Okay, now can we get that? Can we piece it together? Get that front part with the back part?
Sorry, B.
There we go. There is no Kyrie Irving on Christmas Day for you to witness. Because the Lakers are coming into town and they're playing in Brooklyn. And Kyrie can't play in New York games. So while, like I said, COVID is also going through the Brooklyn Nets. And Kevin Durant is going with his own injury, his own ankle injury at that as well. So we're not going to see Kyrie Irving on Christmas, but Kyrie Irving is now back into the NBA playing away games for right now until COVID is no longer decimating the Brooklyn Nets roster like it's decimating many teams out there. It's funny, right? As we talk about Kyrie Irving, we mention Kevin Durant and some of these other individuals, right? Last show on the podcast, we started talking about individuals in the mid-range game, and I mentioned to you that the guys that are truly ballers, right? The guys that we talk about in the upper echelons of the league, right? The MVP candidates and things like that. They're not only good in the three-point line, but they're also really efficient in the mid-range. And it's that efficiency in the mid-range that really puts them over the top because it's the portion of the game that kind of gets overlooked because everybody hyper-focuses on dunks and three-pointers. Why when you're getting cooked in the mid-range, you're so used to overlooking it, you don't even register it.